you can see a big difference in a short amount of time, especially if you start eating fats the way you should be.
Oh, and a full year, and that lets you save. Who cares?
Welcome to a brand new edition of Ageless Energy, where we talk about how to burn fat, increase energy, and balance hormones for women over 40. Over the past 20 years as a performance coach, I've worked with hundreds of women that have the exact same struggles you do. I hope to shine some light with this podcast on what can be the most challenging time of your life and let you know there is hope to find success with your health and what you're looking for. Please share and enjoy. Good morning, everyone. We have got another jam-packed show lined up for you. We're talking about healthy fats versus rancid fats. Healthy fats that are energizing, healing, can help burn body fat. That's all that healthy fats can do. And more. Of course, there's brain function, etc. I'll get into that. And then you have your rancid fats that destroy your digestion, that gut microbiome we work so hard to create. So you're ruining your digestion. Not only that, but you have chronic pain, I always get these two mixed up. It's a step-by-step process, right? So the inflammation causes the chronic pain. So that's bad fats, and that's why this is such an important topic, because I feel like there's a lot of, I don't really like the word misinformation, but maybe conflicting views on what actually is proper fat. So I'm going to get into that today. So let's talk about oils in particular. Now this one's a bit challenging because it's a different mindset, right? And we've been told one thing about fats, like there was this huge, I feel like it was just a marketing scheme to not put fats in your body. Probably some other businesses wanted you to stay away from fats for particular reasons. But we now know that fats are important to our overall health in many different ways. So those of you, in many cases, like our audience is 40-ish and above. So you're looking at joint health in particular, or arthritis, right? So that's one thing in particular you should be concerned about, or at least not concerned about, but understand that there's things that you can do to prevent and treat, if you want to look at it that way. And that's by putting good quality fats into your body, or it's the opposite and damaging your joints by putting low quality rancid oils into your body. Now, anything you look at that's mainstream like this, like I recently posted about a Costco post about the fish oil pills, right? In my opinion, the fish oil pills need to be stored in the fridge. So you have this giant crate of clear plastic bottles that's sitting in the light, right? So the oil, so it's a clear fish oil pill, and that clear fish oil pill, the sun is directly affecting it, is directly affecting the properties. So that is turning it into a rancid capsule. And not a random capsule. It's the sunlight, or the light in particular, ruins the properties of oils. So that's why you see good quality oils in dark, like brownish, amber colored bottles. Ours are called Boston Amber Round. So that's what you need to have. So if you're going to the grocery store and you're buying a package of pills, of fish oils in particular, and it's a clear bottle, they do it for visual purposes, right? Like most cases, companies aren't looking out for your health. Like that company who's producing fish oil pills, they're in it for money. They're not trying to improve your health. It's a very different mindset, or a very different thought process of how do we bring a product to market that can improve our customers' health, or how do we bring a product to market that can make us money? That one, at least from where I'm standing, is a very clear point that they just want to make as much money as possible. So they put it in a bigger container, and they put it into a clear container so you can see, at least to me, they look nice. Like it looks like these beautiful little fish oil capsules that is visually appealing. But then those that don't know the behind the scenes go, oh, Costco, bigger size, cheap, grab it, toss it in their cart, and off they go, right? Not understanding that that's causing digestive issues, that's causing inflammation and chronic pain in their body. And then they say, I don't know what's happening. I was told to take fish oil pills and I'm not seeing any benefits, or my health isn't improving. That's the same as when you look at someone's medicine cabinet or supplements cabinet, and it's filled with the cheapest, lowest quality supplements you could find. Those are doing more damage than good. And then sometimes I hear from people that are saying, like, I'll just watch someone's stories or someone just being like, hey, got this on sale. And I'm like, or they'll say something's better than nothing, and I'm like, you probably don't know what that something is, right? You're getting more than you bargained for. So understanding the back end of why companies are doing what they're doing, at least to me, is important. Like, it's the same thing when you go to the grocery store. Like, I think we all realize that the grocery store, they're there to make money. They're not there to nutritionize our bodies. They are there. They're a business. They're trying to make a profit, and so they have certain products in certain areas because they get paid more. Like, those companies that have their products at eye level, they pay more than those companies that have their products way at the top or at the very bottom. It's a very clear business model that they have. They want you to have those magazines and those products, those chocolate bars and gum, as you're standing there waiting in line. Like, it's all psychology. I was actually just taking this course on magazines, and they broke it down. It was so amazing how they broke down how they sold magazines, from the sleek bikini or little black dress model on the front to the titles of that magazine. And it was all different ways to hit you psychologically. And I was like, wow, like, I didn't even know that stuff. So we have to understand that especially this health industry, is not out for your benefit. They're trying to make money. So we have to do the research. We have to be the ones that take control of our health and understand that these products in particular may not be, not just they're not a health product, but they're not in our best interest. So, okay, that's one thing to understand. So, and what I feel like the biggest friction point here is that when you look at the majority of the market and the lack of education, we don't understand that those low quality types of products are damaging our health. So then you have a better quality product. So it may be, let's say you have the lowest quality olive oil, and then you have the highest quality olive oil. One's $40 and one's $8. So without that education piece, people are like, oh, $8, $40. It's like a no-brainer, right? $8, off I go. Not knowing that olive oil bottle is 3% olive oil and the rest is rancid oils, damaging your health. So then when you have better quality products, people's mind frame isn't mentally budgeted to pay more, right? They think that, and that's the problem with like products that water down the industry, is that most people don't want to pay a higher price for a better quality of product, not knowing the difference, right? So one product can actually improve your health. Another product will damage your health, and you have to understand what is it that you want. Some people just want the cheapest stuff around, and that's fine. Understanding that that's not going to make an improvement. And then other people will invest more and then spend less in other areas, like at the drive-thru at Tim Hortons. I don't know. So I want you to understand that there's different levels of oils that you can purchase, and I'm going to go over them with you right now. I made this chicken. I made this big chicken we throw in the oven, and we spiced it with a bunch of different stuff, and I made I had the bone broth, and my bone broth turned. This is gonna sound gross to a lot of people. My bone broth turned to usually it's almost clear, like a light amberish or like a brown, like beige, but mine was green because I put some green poultry spices in there. So my my bone broth is a bit greenish. So every once in a while I look at it, I'm like, tastes fine. It's okay. If you're not having bone broth, I highly recommend it. It's great for digestion, leaky gut syndrome, help to break down proper microbiomes in your digestive tract, and great for the immune system. Tons of health benefits. We choose to make our own, but you can buy some if you prefer. So okay, so there's different levels, right? So when it comes to the oils in particular, you have to look at the seed oils that I would recommend staying away from. I talked about that a lot. So I'm going to move to, let me go over that briefly and I'll move to the oils that I would suggest. So those seed oils that you have grapeseed oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, cottonseed oil. There's a bunch of different seed oils. In most cases, if it has a seed in there, you want to stay away from them. And in my opinion, I would stay away from any oil that has a clear bottle, especially plastic. And now there's more research coming, like same with water bottles, and more research coming out about those microplastics that are being ingested and causing long-term damage that we never knew about because we didn't have the research. So in most cases, things that come in plastic bottles, I would stay away from, especially if it's oil and it's a clear bottle. We know it's damaged from the get-go. So that's the first thing I want to mention. Now, if you have questions with that, let me know. Let's move over to the healthier options that you should be consuming. Now, there's different price points and there's different properties of each. So, for example, you could look at an olive oil, for example, a good quality olive oil. This is a lower smoke point. So if you're going to cook with olive oil, you want it to be on low heat, or you put the olive oil in salad or a stir fry after it's cooked, so the heat doesn't damage the property. So that's number one. There are properties in olive oil that you don't find in other oils. That's why I feel like it's important to have a variety of different oils. I'll get into MCT oil here in a moment, but we lean heavily on MCT oil because we believe in that much more than the other ones. But I'll tell you, I'll share why in a moment. So then you have your butter. So I would choose grass-fed butter, organic whenever possible. And that has a higher smoke point. So you can cook with that on higher temperatures. The problem is you don't want to burn it. You don't want to burn the butter. That turns into rancid as well, just like an oil would. You could look at ghee. Ghee can be cooked. I think you can cook. I don't use it a ton, but you can cook with that at very high temperatures as well. Another one is coconut oil. So coconut oil, different than MCT oil, and that one can be cooked on higher temperatures as well. So it's important for me to share the smoke point with you, because if you're cooking, like if you have a good quality oil and you burn the crap out of it, it damages the properties and it turns it from a health food to a junk food. That junk food is what, and here's the thing is that when I'm talking about gut microbiome and balancing that gut flora, is when you can look at hormones in particular, and the women we work with 40 plus are always asking questions about how to balance your hormones properly. And it's important to understand that what you put in your body, like what the food you are digesting or trying to digest, is either balancing or unbalancing your hormones. So within our MAP program, we're putting together more of a push around understanding gut microbiome, digestion in particular, and then helping understand that we can do a better job of balancing our hormones by putting proper probiotics from food into our digestive tract, chewing food properly, mindful eating. There's a number of different things around digestion directly based around our gut microbiome that's super important to understand when it comes to hormones in particular. So if you're putting low quality foods in your body, then we see our hormones out of whack. Then we have more seem to have more mood swings, night sweats, hot flashes, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Everyone hits them a little bit differently, but that can be, that's more of a unbalance of hormones. And if we look at the proper foods we're putting in our body, we can do a better job of balancing those. So to drive this home a little bit or focus in, is that these oils that we're putting in our body, if it turns rancid, we're putting that's damaging our digestive tract directly. And then indirectly, we're damaging our joints by causing inflammation in our body. So you see those people some people are always sore, for example, or some people are always like wake up achy and in pain. That's inflammation. And it's always surprising to me how few people put that food connection together, that you're either putting good quality foods in your body to help improve your health, or it's damaging. And again, so many people don't put it together. They don't understand that you continue to put that junk in your body, you continue to inflame your body, inflame your joints. Like your body's throbbing for a reason, because you don't have healing properties in there, from proper supplementation to proper nutrition, and then moving your body properly. So the more you move your body, the more you can move it. And we run into those issues of less. Like I look at our 2-year-old and he is always moving. And it's absolutely amazing to see. And as we get older, we stop moving. Like we move less and less, and then we have more health issues. And then we're like, I have more health issues, I should move less. And I'm like, no, you need to move more. If you want to reverse aging, if you want to move better, have more mobility, stability, balance, core, lower back, you have to move your body. And we just see so few people that are willing to do that to help heal themselves. It's easier to jump in the line at the pharmacy, right? They've explained it like it's like actual holes in your gut, like that need to be properly healed. You could look at, like, this is a little bit off topic. I'm not an expert in this particular area, but you could look at collagen, for example. Like as women age, your gut lining tends to get thinner. So you could look at something like collagen to help improve with that. Like no one talks about that, right? Like bone broth is collagen. And like everyone wants to get like the collagen for their beauty, but they don't consider collagen for their digestive tract. Not something I get into too much, but there's a number of different levels of digestive issues. And I'm actually doing a really deep dive into a blood analysis and all that can be found. And that starts with hormone health in your digestive tract, along with gut microbiome. It's super interesting and super intense. Dorothy's like, I heard you listening to that in the other room and almost fell asleep. I'm like, I know. It's not that interesting too. Thank you. Irritable bowel syndrome. Thanks, Miranda and Michelle. It's not for everyone. And I think there's different levels of knowledge and understanding. I'm not a super expert in that kind of stuff, but I would like to be, and I always want to continue to learn. So I hope that helps a little bit, Jane, but I can get deeper questions or answer those questions on a better level as I move forward with some extra schooling. Okay, so when you're looking at, we put all the connections together. We understand that we have to put good quality oils into our body to help with joints, to help burn body fat. I actually had this happened. I don't think she was a client. I know who it was, but I don't remember the context. I think we might have done a fitness challenge or something and then paired up nutrition, and they never ate any fats. Like they were afraid of fats. They told me, afraid of fats, told I was never supposed to eat them, avoided fats. And then we went over this workshop or training, and it was a week or two, and she started to implement fats into her diet, and she lost like 7 pounds. And I thought, like, I'm not just, and obviously, hopefully you guys understand, I'm not just like a numbers guy or weight loss person. That's not what we do. In particular, there's so many other benefits, but I thought like that's such a clear, tangible, like aha moment. Wow. That sometimes it's just one small thing that you need to change to see big results. And we see that quite often with women in particular that come to us over 40 and they're like, hey, I've been trying this, I've been trying that, haven't seen any results. And then I'm like, so we start working together and we come up with a plan. And sometimes it's the smallest tweak, like, have you tried this? Oh no, I've never tried that. And bam, big results in a short amount of time. And I think that's super interesting because you may have conversations. I do this often in business in particular. And I'm like, I'm really having a hard time with this. I'm trying to figure this out, blah, blah, blah. And then someone offers like some really simple, and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? And then bam, instant results. But this one in particular was, she didn't realize that good fats burn bad fats. It's just like muscle mass burns body fat. And we don't realize that, right? A lot of women are like afraid of building muscle because they don't want to look big and bulky. So it takes years in a very specific meal plan to build big, bulky muscles. It's nearly impossible. I should reframe that. It's nearly impossible if you're not trying to do it, if you're not set on a particular plan. But because women are afraid of building muscle because they don't want to get bulky, they don't realize the more muscle mass that they have, the more body fat that they're going to burn. So I had this question come up in our Metabolism Accelerator program group, and she said, can you tell me about cellulite? Asking for a friend. I thought that was funny. And I want to put together a proper write-up. But that cellulite is usually visceral fat that's on that top layer, right? So you could see that with anyone. You could see that. You see cellulite with skinny women. You see cellulite with overweight women. Sometimes you see that with fit women. It's the visceral fat that's laying on top of the muscle. So if they were to build more muscle, they would be able to eliminate that cellulite. And of course, that's a very simple answer. We have to look at nutrition, you look at workouts, but it comes to a lot of times not just burning body fat, but building muscle. So we have to understand that. And that's the problem with women, right? Like women just go to the cardio machine and they're like, I'm not seeing my results. I'm just going to do a bunch more cardio. And I'm like, stop the cardio. if you look at runners, like often elite runners or regular runners, like the runners typical, at least in my mind, the runners typical, like a serious competitive runner in most cases, they're very thin, like they're very skinny. They often don't do resistance training is one. They just do cardio is two. And then they don't have the proper nutritional adequacy to build a solid frame with muscle mass. So they're not getting the amino acids from protein that they need to build muscle mass, right? So they're not only burning body fat, but they're also burning muscle. So that's what happens when you jump on a cardio machine. And on top of that, we see people like first thing in the morning with no food in their system. I'm tell you for a fact, they're burning muscle mass often before they get to their fat. So you see them with like, they're not getting stronger, maybe a little bit frail, weak, but dropping weight. And you've seen that before. I'm sure you've seen those people that have dropped 75, 100 pounds, and they don't look strong, right? They look like, you look at them and you're like, oh my gosh, what happens? And we're going to be talking about that with Ozempic. And I'm going to bring on an expert that specializes. She's a pharmacist plus nutritionist. She specializes in this. So you see a bunch of people dropping weight from Ozempic, and that's scary to me because first of all, you can't be on it for the rest of your life. That's number one. Number two, there's no reinforcement or proper habits or knowledge being taught behind nutrition. So what's going to happen when they get off it? And then the third one, I want to say something fancy, but I don't have anything. Like the third dagger, if you're looking at 3 prongs, is that they're not building any muscle mass. So all they're losing is their body fat, and they're becoming weaker and frail because there's nothing there, right? So you guys have to understand that you need to build muscle mass to burn body fat. That's number one. And you have to put the good quality foods in your body. That's the same thing. And I kind of went off on a tangent, but that's the same comparison when we're saying you need to have good fats in your body to burn the bad fats off. So that example I used for you guys was that all she had to do is make a small little tweak. And that could be different. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm not saying you start to eat fats and you're going to lose a bunch of weight. I'm saying that you can see a big difference in a short amount of time, especially if you start eating fats the way you should be. And when we design meal plans, we have the 4 macros in at least 3, or depending on the individual. We have for the 4 macros in throughout the day is what you should be consuming, not just one meal or not just in the morning. So for example, you might say, oh, well, I have a salad at dinner time. And that's probably not enough. That's probably not enough fat, right? You have to balance your macros and make sure you're getting the amount you need. And in most cases, that's not happening. So, whoa, that was a lot. How are we doing out there?
One of the things I would like to ask of you guys is that some of you know that I don't run ads on the show and don't plan on in the immediate future. So the only ask I have for you is that you help us spread the word so we can help more women burn body fat, increase energy, and balance their hormones. And the only way that we can do that is if you can rate and review this podcast. So the single thing that I could have you do or could ask of you is to leave a review. It'll take 5 minutes or one swipe of the thumb. It would mean the absolute world to me. And more importantly, you could change the world for someone else. As many of you know, there's plenty of women that struggle in this age group for balancing hormones, increasing energy, and burning body fat. So if you could help spread the word, that would make a big difference in our life and probably someone else's as well.
So I want to talk about MCT oil here for a moment because that's one of our products. We sell MCT oil. I suppose you could just jump off this training if you don't want to hear about it at all. But I feel like it's worth understanding because there's different types of oils that do different things to your body. Now, when it comes to MCT oil, so let's say, for example, you have your MCT oil, your white conventional coconut oil may have a little coconut oil taste or flavor, and it's solid at room temperature. If it gets super hot in the house, you see it get a bit clearer and watery, or it goes straight to liquid if it's super hot, depending where you live. Doesn't happen too much here in Alberta or in Canada, but we've had bottles like in LA, for example, on hot days that just goes straight to liquid. But in most cases, I'm talking about the conventional type of coconut oil. So again, that has properties that MCT oil doesn't have. So I wouldn't say you replace your coconut oil with your MCT oil. Now for us, we consume mostly grass-fed or mostly coconut oil. Then we have grass-fed butter. And then we have, as a higher cooking smoke point, same with coconut oil, very similar. But then you have your MCT oil, which, for example, I put in my tea in the morning. I put it in my shake every time I have a shake every day. So tea in the morning, shake in the afternoon, and then usually on a veggie. So I have MCT oil 3 times a day, which seems like a lot to people, but I'm not overweight. So maybe that will help you understand that if you're putting good quality fats in your body, they're not going to cause you to gain weight. It'll actually be the opposite, which again is a bit of a challenging mind frame for a lot of people. And I want to be very clear with this because I feel like a lot of people think a coconut oil is a coconut oil. So this coconut oil that most people know about, they sell it all over. Probably pharmacies, I think. I don't go in there too often, but pharmacies, health food stores, probably grocery stores, Costco. I didn't even think about putting in my tea. Yes, you can definitely put in your tea. We spray it on popcorn, nutritional yeast, Himalayan salt. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the MCT oil in particular, but let me get back to this. So you have your white coconut oil, then you have MCT oil. So MCT oil is very different because you have your regular coconut or coconut oil, and they have extracted carbons or chains out of that coconut oil. So there's 4, I was going to say 4 main ones, but from what I understand, there's only 4. So you have a C, so C is carbon, C, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Now, I know this is getting a bit scientific. I hope it's not over your head, but I think that it's worth understanding, at least in my opinion. So you have the 4, right? Now, C6, I believe, will offer the most benefit, but it's not widely used. I don't know if it's even extracted much at all because it doesn't taste very good, and the smell and taste isn't really palatable, what people would consume. You have the C8, which is the most beneficial, which I'm going to explain. Then you have a C10 and you have a C12. As you get higher up in the carbon chain, you have less health benefits. Now, these are still MCT oils. They're still fine to consume, the C10 and 12. You just don't get the full benefit as you do with the C8. So if you look at our product, for example, it is 100% pure C8. That's it. There's one single ingredient. Now, the problem here and what bothers me the most is that we try to find the best quality supplements there is. Hands down, that's the bottom line. We sacrifice price. We sacrifice time finding it. We'll do whatever we can to get the best product because that's what we want to put in our body. That's what we want to put in our child's body. That's what we want to recommend to our friends and family. So if you were to look at the industry, again, as we talked about at the beginning, that's more based around sales and profit margin. So they will have a product that says MCT oil in it, and it may not have any C8 in it. And in fact, I don't know why it doesn't need to be labeled. I think it does. Some companies just don't, and maybe loosely regulated. I'm not a huge fan of regulation, but regardless, if it's not listed, like you turn around the bottle, look at the back, and it'll say which it should say. If it doesn't, it's probably just the 12 because that's the cheapest to source, right? Cheapest MCT oil to source. Or what's worse is that it could be a palm oil. They should say it should say derived from coconut or derived from palm oil. At the very least, I would hope. If it's a palm oil is processed at such a high temperature that it has become rancid. It causes inflammation and chronic pain, along with digestive issues. So because of the palm oil's properties, it reacts very similar as an MCT oil in your body. And all that means is medium chain triglyceride. And this is rare because usually you want short term and you want to avoid long term. So the medium chain is confusing to a lot of people. So I just want you to understand that when you go and grab a cheap MCT oil from Costco, it could be a 12, which is fine. Just understand you're not getting the same benefits as a C8. And then sometimes they don't label it, or they'll say C8, 10, and 12, and they'll be 5% C8, and then the rest is going to be 10 and 12, right? So they put a little amount as possible so they can put C8. So some call it high octane. And now let me explain the health benefits. So you'll look at those that want to get into the keto state, for example. This will help put your body into a state of ketosis because it processes differently in your body. So this can go directly to your bloodstream, and it can also break the blood-brain barrier, much like magnesium threonate or Magtin. Magtin's the only magnesium that can break your blood-brain barrier. So it helps with mood, cognitive function, memory, etc. So if you have any of those issues, you got to start adding Magtin to your regular supplement repertoire. Now, okay, now from there, you look at the MCT oil that processes very differently in your body. I don't even believe it goes through your liver like most fats. It goes straight to your bloodstream. And again, the only oil that from what I understand, to break the blood-brain barrier. And I gotta tell you this story. Now, you can believe it or not, but I'm on a macro count myself, just like our clients, and I have a calorie count. And I was late. I missed a meal a couple days in a row, and I put the MCT oil in my shake, and I had that right before bed, and my mind was going crazy, and I'm like, what is happening? I couldn't sleep. So then the next night, didn't really think much of it. I was like, probably not my shake. MCT oil, protein, our plant milk, homemade, shake it up, go to bed, wide awake. Can't sleep. In most cases, I sleep quite well. I don't have a problem falling asleep or sleeping throughout the night, unless our 2-year-old speaks up. So wide awake, and I'm like, my gosh, can it be the MCT oil? So some companies call it because it's 8 octane, like high octane brain fuel. There's a number of different reasons, but because of the brain function, because of the ability. Now, I usually have, this is bone broth. I didn't put any fats in this or any MCT oil in this, but if I have a regular green tea, I have pu'er tea and sencha green tea almost every morning. Studies have been shown to suppress cancer cells, which is why I do that. And then I put the MCT oil there in the morning for brain function, because I don't use those stimulants like coffee or energy drinks, etc. So anyways, the third night, I was like, maybe it's the MCT oil. So I wanted to do it. I didn't miss anything the third night, but I wanted to check it out and do a little experiment on myself. So I had a shake, and I didn't put the MCT oil in it, drank the shake, slept like a baby. So at any rate, I really believe that it was the MCT oil that was like, just has you firing, like, and that's one of the main benefits, is helping you understand that it helps with brain function, it helps energize and helps burn body fat, it helps with your joints. So I'm a big fan of MCT oil, even though that experiment just happened. We've been using it for years, and we feel like it's probably the best oil you can put in your body with the balance of other oils, not just don't just have one single oil. You're missing out on other properties. So yeah, whoa. All right, I got that out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, or hopefully that was helpful. I'm gonna wrap things up here, and I think it's valuable. And there's a reason for it. There's a time and place for it, and I know some people need it, like diabetes, for example. But I feel like most things is, there's the overprescription and overusage, and used for the wrong purposes. So now everyone's jumping on it because the doctors are prescribing it. Like, what were they overprescribing? The I don't know what it was, amphetamines or the pain meds. And then there's this huge like epidemic of people being addicted to drugs, and then going to the street to find them, like an absolute disaster. Some guy actually met some guy on the beach, and we were talking about it. He was telling me a whole story about it, and how a lot of that had to do with Florida. I think there was like this one main clinic in Florida that was doing that. So at any rate, we were in Florida, and he was telling me about everything that was happening. It was super interesting. All right, everyone, I'm out of here too. We hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll catch up with you soon. I do have an ebook that I just finished. So it's our newest ebook. It's not big. It's about 15 pages. It's about how you can burn body fat, increase energy, and balance your hormones. And I've tried to put that together in the simplest format possible. So that's going to be available today, I think. So anyways, if you want that, let us know in the comments. Say, I would like your ebook, please. We sent it out to our MAP program last night. Members first, and then we'll slowly release it to the public here. I feel like you guys are more of our private, close-knit group that are in here watching this, more than the general public on my personal or business page. So at any rate, if you guys want to crack at that before we send it out, just comment below. Have a great day, everyone.